The purpose of this clip is to demonstrate how to edit a member record. Often you might have someone who's registered as maybe a full member, adult member, and then you realize afterwards that he or she needs to be registered as a player instead. So we're going to take a record here, make some changes to it, and look at the individual and register him or her, and then go back and make some additional changes. So here we have someone called Eddie Allen, and Eddie Allen isn't registered for the current year. But just say we want to change some of Eddie's details. What we do is click on the record, or double click on his name rather, on the member screen, and you're thrown into a screen which shows you his personal details first. So there are a number of tabs up here. Personal by default is the one that's currently by default depressed, or that's available, and then there's other choices you can pick as you need: discipline, membership, etc. So if I just pick discipline for a moment, I flick to that, and it shows me his discipline record if he has one, and there's none there, nothing found to display. So I'm going to go back to his personal details. So it'll eventually take me back to his name, his address, his phone number, etc. So under that we can edit whatever we want to edit. So we could give him a mobile phone number or something. And we can save the record. So his date of birth is in there. If his date of birth wasn't in there and we wanted to make him a player, that would be important. So we'll just change his date of birth and we'll make him an adult player. We'll make him... Sorry, he was born in 1981, I think. So it's 1981. Okay, 1981 date of birth, so that's fine. So we're going to save that. So it takes us back to Eddie again. So that bit has been saved, it's been changed. We go back in again. He still hasn't been registered, so we'll leave that. That's why he's still appearing in red. When we go in this time, we're going to look at his membership history. So when we go to membership history, we see that Eddie was registered in 2010, but there's no record here for 2011. So if we wanted to go in and look at his 2010 profile, what he was in 2010, we can just click on 2010 and it brings us in, and he was in as a full member in 2010 and he was a player in 2010. So what we now do is go back and we're going to look at his membership for 2011. So we're going to go back to members, and what we're going to do is we're going to register Eddie. So it tells me here currently, as registering, that he's going to be a full member. He's the second person here in the list. He's going to be a full member and he's going to be a player. But I'll just deliberately untick the player option to demonstrate how to change it later on. So here we have Eddie and his address and all his details. So we have full, youth, honorary. So we'll leave him as a full member, but we won't make him a player for the moment. And we'll just tick him. He's the only one we're going to tick. So when we've ticked him, we can just hit the register button. So he should then vanish from this screen. And when he vanishes from the screen, the system tells me all persons submitted were successfully registered. So Eddie has been registered. So that's the registration screen. So I'm going to go back to the view member screen. When I go back there, I'll still see Eddie, but this time he's appearing in black. And now what I can do is I can go in and look at his record still. So even though the person has been registered, you can still edit some of the details if you made a mistake. So in this case here, the bit that I've done incorrectly is I haven't made him a player. And as you can see, there's none of the player information here in the personal part of his details. I've got to go into his membership record to find the player stuff. So here we now see on this occasion that we have the 2010 record is still there, and the 2011 record is there. If I had registered him by mistake and I wanted to deregister him or knock him off the 2011 list, I can just tick this box and then delete. Okay, when the box was unticked, delete was disabled, as you can see here. It's in a very faint shade of grey. But now that I've ticked him to say I want to delete his membership for 2010 or 2011 rather, I could then hit delete if I wanted to. So all I'm doing here is, if I delete this, is delete the membership for 2011. It doesn't in any way affect the information, his name, address, all that stuff. It'll still remain held in the system. So that's how you would delete someone registered, the registration for a year that was done by mistake. But what I want to do for Eddie is I want to go in and change his status from being a non-player to a player. So I click on 2011. When I go into 2011 membership record, I see his name, his details like that, date of birth, etc. I see he's a full member, but I see that the tick box for is this person a player has been chosen no, like I did earlier on. And now I'll make him a player. And if Eddie is very ambitious in the GAA, he might also be a referee or an assessor. So if you have a referee in your club and you've forgotten to set him as a referee, you just go in here as well and tick yes to referee. So in my case, what I've just done is I've made Eddie a player, and I've also made him a referee. And that referee information is important to set at club level, because it means then people doing fixtures on the fixture system can see the referees at each club. So if you have a member who's a referee, please go in and check that this part of his record has been updated to reflect his referee status. So I'm going to submit him again, and it tells me he's been successfully updated in the system. So now if I want to go back and I want to run some, say I want to run some queries, so I can just go back to that's Eddie done, dusted. Okay, I want to go back to members. I will say I want to find all the people that are players who are registered. Okay, there's 613 items in this list here. So if I just want to search for players who are registered, I can just go to the menu here under search, and I can search under player category. And there's different player categories. See, adult, under 21, etc. So I can search for adult players. And that'll give me, when I search it, it'll give me all the adult players. Okay, if I just want adult players who are registered, in other words, I want to eliminate the Anne Actons and the Jack Ashes off this list. Okay, I have lots of people here who are players, it seems. If I want to pick those who are registered, I can go to registered and pick yes on this by default. I have yes and no here. So this will give me players who are registered if I search. So hopefully fewer records appear. There are 5 items. Okay, they're appearing here. So that gives me the details of Eddie Allen and the other players who are registered. So when you're doing registration work or doing group work, trying to set up groups, make sure you understand how to use the filters here, the search criteria. On the other hand, if I wanted to find out something else, if I wanted to find out about people who meet one of a number of conditions, so here you have to be a player and you have to be registered. If I were to choose any here rather than all, okay, instead of displaying 5 items, it would display a lot more, because I'm picking anybody who is either an adult player or alternatively anybody who is registered. So searching that yields hopefully a lot more records. It yields 15 records in this case. So again, to summarize, what we've done is we've taken Eddie Allen, we've clicked on his record, we've gone in, and under his details we have a number of categories. Personal by default is visible, but you also have player membership privileges, and you can edit any of those and change his status from being a non-player to a player, or being a non-referee to a referee, etc. So that's the end of this clip on editing a record.